I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
Today, the 47th president is sworn into office. That is President Trump, marking his return to the Oval Office with a day-long ceremony as he wasted no time then putting his plan into place.
Plus, one local man attending today's ceremony, his first-hand experience as Trump returns to the White House.
And the bird flu continues to spread. It's having a direct impact on our wallet as well as egg prices continue to soar. Now experts are concerned you should also be aware of the impact it could have on your health.
You're watching Fox 13, and the 10 o'clock news starts now.
Good evening and welcome tonight. I'm Mark Wilson.
And I'm Linda Hurtado. Allie has the night off. Thanks for joining us. We're expecting to see some very chilly temperatures tonight, but on the Panhandle, things are about to be very un-Florida.
Quite different. Fox 13's chief meteorologist Paul Delgado here. Paul, they could even see some snowfall up there in Panhandle, huh?
Oh, yeah, maybe up an inch or so up in Tallahassee. The first signs of the winter storm happening right now in Texas. I just checked the observations. Light snow occurring in Houston. They're expecting their biggest snowstorm in 65 years, up to a half a foot in Houston, the metro area. Higher amounts south of I-10, heading down towards the coast. And look at these cold Arctic temps. Going to run some very moist air from the Gulf, kind of run into some of this very cold air. That is a recipe for some heavy snow. So in our Panhandle, I think most of the accumulating snow is going to be primarily Tallahassee to the north and west, and primarily the western Panhandle up by Gainesville and Jacksonville and Lake City and Tallahassee. Probably a mixture of some snow, some sleet, not hail, sleet and freezing rain. Sleet's a winter thing. Hail is a summer thing. And you can see the snow. It'll move across the coast, New Orleans, Baton Rouge, our Panhandle. And for us, it is a very, very cold rain. We'll see rain tomorrow and temps in the 40s. More on some snowfall accumulations coming up at 10:20. I'll see you then.
Paul, we can't wait. That is exciting stuff for those up there north of us for sure. Also tonight, Donald Trump. He was not wasting any time when he became president today. He's already signed his first executive orders focusing on immigration and withdrawing from the Paris Climate Accord. Also pardoned more than 1,000 January 6th rioters. His cabinet's also taking shape. The Senate quickly confirming former Florida Senator Marco Rubio as Secretary of State today. Now, the President's Day is not over yet. He's attending several inaugural balls, and after those, he'll spend his first night inside the White House as the 47th President of the United States. And today was a day full of events, from inauguration to parades. Because of the cold weather, the inauguration happened to be had to be inside the Capitol. Only some of his supporters could watch from inside the Capital One Arena as well. And Fox 13's Jordan Bowen spoke with one Tampa native who took the trip to D.C. to see all the events unfold. Let's begin with reporter Connor Hansen, though. Connor, President Trump got right to work today.
That's right, Mark. It's been a busy day. You mentioned President Trump heading to those inaugural different rounds of signing executive orders. The most recent one earlier tonight back in the Oval Office, covering a wide range of topics, pardoning hundreds of people. And tonight we're also seeing that cabinet officially take shape. And most of those executive orders focused on the southern border, but we also saw President Trump suspend a ban on TikTok for another 75 days. He's also removing DEI programs from federal agencies. Tomorrow, Republican congressional leaders will meet President Trump at the White House. Mark.
So live for us, Connor. Thanks.
Well, the cold weather changed a lot of plans, especially for those who traveled across the country to watch the inauguration, and that includes one man from Tampa. Fox 13's Jordan Bowen is in our newsroom tonight. And Jordan, even though he couldn't watch the inauguration from the National Mall, he enjoyed this history-making day.
Yeah, Linda, he says going into it, he knew it was going to be much different than when he attended the inauguration in 2017. They plan to return home tomorrow, and same with Gephardt. He and his son will be making the roughly 14-hour drive back here tomorrow morning. Guys.
All right. And Jordan, thanks so much. And you can watch Fox 13 political editor Craig Patrick's special transition to Trump on our website and on the Fox local app.
So Hillsborough County deputies have arrested a man for robbing a number of gas stations at gunpoint. Detectives identified Ian Charles Gasperson through a rental car that had been linked to the robberies. An acquaintance of his also identified him as the suspect in surveillance footage of 3 different incidents. Then a search of his rented vehicle revealed evidence that tied him to the robberies. Deputies also found drugs in his car, so now he's facing a number of gun and drug charges as well.
Chances are you've noticed the price of eggs skyrocketing, and the bird flu is to blame. It's been spreading, impacting 84 commercial and backyard flocks, including a poultry producer in Georgia. While cases are rare in humans, 1 person has died. Fox 13's Evan Moon is in our studio tonight. After speaking with the doctor, Evan, what'd you find out?
Hey there, guys. Yes, we keep hearing about this, but we may not know a ton about it yet. I did speak with an infectious disease doctor tonight who told me it's not something people should ignore, especially if there's another mutation or strain of this current virus. Now, there actually is a vaccine for animals for this, but not yet for humans. They're working on that, and that doctor says the peak of this strain in Florida is the first few weeks of February, and then it tails off. Linda, Mark.
Evan, thank you. A holiday to honor the legacy of civil rights leader Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Yeah, that includes events all across the country and here in the Tampa Bay area.
It's unity, it's love, and it's the appreciation for what he did for us.
That's coming up at 10:30. Today's parade in St. Pete to honor Dr. King and continue his legacy.
But first, utility bills are draining some customers' bank accounts. Why water bills are leaving some residents confused and concerned. Residents in St. Pete are fed up with high water bills. We told you last week dozens of people launched complaints because their bills skyrocketed after the hurricanes. Tonight, Fox 13's Genevieve Curtis spoke to another resident, a 95-year-old woman who says something has to give. All right, we'll try to get that story for you a little bit later. It's not just the Tampa Bay area feeling the cold today. Much of the country seeing wintry weather as a polar vortex sends temperatures plunging. More than 30 states are under alerts for extreme cold as wind chills drop to 50 below.
This comes after the Northeast actually got hit with some very heavy snow over the weekend. You've probably seen some of the pictures and video. Well, now millions of Americans are preparing for a bitter cold night tonight, including a potential historic winter storm now threatening people from Texas to, yes, Florida. Not us necessarily, but the Panhandle. In Houston, airports and schools will be closed ahead of the heavy snow and ice. Fox weather forecasters say that the system could drop sleet and freezing rain across a number of states, causing power outages, disrupting travel. Work also is underway across a number of states to keep the roadways clear and safe.
We're using everything. That means every piece of equipment, every individual that we can get on the road to treat safely, and every material we have.
Our Attorney General.
Yeah, here in Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis warned of possible snow and black ice for northern Florida. He's directing the Department of Emergency Management and Transportation Department to be on standby with snow plows and some other equipment to make the roadways safe. He warns drivers to be cautious and careful if driving on icy roads. So it could be a historic night. They do get an inch of snow up there. It's been.
Last winter storm warning for our state was early 2018. It snowed in Tallahassee. I think January 3rd had about an inch. You're better off, I tell you, you're better off getting 3 inches of snow than you are getting a quarter inch of the sleet and freezing rain.
Or that ice on the roads.
So I was watching the Eagles game. One of the reporters is saying, it's hailing. No, hail is summer.
Right.
Sleet is like the sprinkles on a donut. And freezing rain is like the glaze on a donut. That's kind of the way to think about it. Look outside. Now I'm hungry. 49 degrees. We're looking. Anytime you get donuts in the conversation, it's good. 49 degrees. Looking to the southwest, and it's cloudy, and it is cold night. Not getting too cold tonight because clouds are thickening, and temperatures tomorrow when it rains will probably hold in the 40s. How about that? That happens maybe once a winter, if that. 48 degrees on the Bay Shore, lowering and thickening clouds tonight. This is live in Baton Rouge. They may have more snow from this snowstorm in Baton Rouge than they do in any snowstorm in Boston this winter. Think about that for a second. 38 degrees along the banks of the Mississippi. And down the road in Houston, just began snowing. Just looked at all the observations, some Hobby Airport, and I think I just saw a flake kind of hit the lens. So snow just beginning in Houston, and temps will drop They're 37 degrees. The blue is snow, and a lot of this is still kind of aloft and is not hitting the ground yet, but it will soon. So Houston to Dallas, back to Austin, down I-10, into the bayous and parishes of Louisiana. Snow will pick up in intensity, and the heaviest snow will probably follow a path along I-10 into our state. Accumulating snow mainly in the western panhandle and also into sections of Alabama, Georgia, back to Mississippi. If you're driving up I-75 towards Atlanta, probably want to wait until, say, early Wednesday. Usually the interstates are fine, but probably better just to wait a little bit. And a wintry mix as far south as Gainesville. May see a bit of sleet and freezing rain. Tallahassee, maybe kind of a mixed snow, sleet, freezing rain, maybe an inch of snow if it stays cold enough. Typically, the warm air aloft tends to kind of erode the snow and brings in the sleet and freezing rain. It'll ride right along I-10 tomorrow. Potential snow accumulations up to 10 inches along I-10 and south in Houston. Several inches in Baton Rouge and New Orleans, and all the way west into Pensacola and Panama City, and all the way south of Atlanta. I don't think this is a big snowstorm in Atlanta. It'll stay mainly south, say towards Macon and Valdosta. May see some decent snow. Using rain that really makes the driving tough, and some of the models are pretty aggressive with at least some ice accumulation from, say, just north of Gainesville up towards Jacksonville and points west. There's the snow and there's the rain for us. The rain will slide across the state for a spell tomorrow. And I'm not expecting when it is raining, it'll be miserable with temps in the 40s and a very cold rain. Temps now, 46 Brooksville, 49 in Tampa, 39 Tallahassee, 60-ish in South Florida, cold front south of us. And the snow is caused by Arctic air that is well entrenched along the Gulf Coast. You throw moisture on top or into the cold air, and it makes snow. Pretty good, efficient snowmaker coming up tonight and tomorrow. Clouding up, some cold rain very late tonight, down to 43. There'll be a spell of cold rain tomorrow. It'll end, if we're lucky, we hit 52. Another chilly day on Wednesday, partly cloudy, maybe a bit more in the way of light rain or showers on Thursday. Gasparilla looks cool, but there should be sunshine and 61 by next week. We're back in the 70s, which will be nice.
The sun warms things up, right?
Yes,
Sun is good. A veteran forced to live without power for weeks since Hurricane Helene. One local man is still in the dark. A big step made today that could see those lights finally shine once again. All right, we want to get back to the story about concerns for high water bills in St. Pete. Tonight, Fox 13's Genevieve Curtis spoke to another resident, a 95-year-old woman who says something must give.
There's some great information, Genevieve. Thanks so much. Got to be that squeaky wheel sometimes, you know. All right, after Hurricane Milton, many of us were without power for days, but the lights eventually came back on. Imagine being in the dark for 15 weeks. That happened to this veteran. Tonight, though, he's one step closer to finally getting his power back on.
Several local organizations are stepping up to help him. One thing in the way was a tree. He couldn't afford to have the fallen fir removed from his backyard, but on Monday, thanks to the efforts of local crane company Bile Brothers and crews with Quality Roofing, that tree was removed and Jackson's roof fixed for free. And his next door neighbors hooked extension cords up to their own homes so the veteran could power his mini fridge and microwave.
And I thank the Lord for them. They're angels. And now I'm being delivered.
Well, now that the tree has been removed and is finally out of the way, electrical crews will need to come out to fix Jackson's electrical box and actually restore his power. That is expected to happen sometime soon, we hope, but his neighbors say they'll continue to take care of him until then.
So TikTok is back, but for how long? Why the app was just brought back hours after getting shut down, and what President Trump says about its long-term future here in the USA.
Today, the nation is honoring the memory of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., the civil rights leader, activist, and Baptist minister who encouraged the world to reflect on the issues of racism.
Yeah, celebrations to honor Dr. King today were held all around the country, including the 2025 MLK Beloved Community Commemorative Service in Atlanta, Georgia. The service is held every year at the city's historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, the very church where Dr. King gave his first sermon and co-pastored with his father until his assassination in 1968. This year's celebration theme is Mission Possible, protecting freedom, justice, and democracy in the spirit of Nonviolence 365. Dr. King's daughter, Reverend Bernice King, spoke about the theme and the push for Americans to keep her father's mission alive.
Well, we are living in a time when anti-woke rhetoric has become a weapon to divide us and distract us from the real issues of injustice. To be woke is to be aware of oppression and committed to justice.
Dr. King is recognized for spearheading the civil rights movement and was seen as the force behind landmark events like the Montgomery bus boycott and the March on Washington. Dr. King's birthday was recognized as a federal holiday in 1983, and the holiday falls now on the third Monday in January, meaning it does not always fall on his actual birthday, which is January 15th.
And here at home, thousands of people line the streets in downtown St. Pete for the annual MLK Dream Big Parade. This year, the Florida A&M University Marching Band joined the parade. Fox 13's Kylie Jones was there and gives us a look at the event.
And as the nation celebrates the legacy of Dr. King, as well as the inauguration of President Donald Trump today, demonstrators took to the streets in New York City to demand change as part of the We Fight Back event. The crowds gathered at Washington Square Park before marching down the streets, calling for lawmakers to focus on the needs of the people and do more for workers' rights, immigration rights, and an end to the war in Gaza.
In one of his final acts as president before leaving Washington, former President Biden commuted the sentence for indigenous activist Leonard Peltier. He's the man convicted in 1975 of killing 2 FBI agents. Biden also handed out his final pardons, and today he pardoned Dr. Anthony Fauci, retired General Mark Milley, members of the House committee who investigated the January 6th attack on the Capitol, as well as his siblings and their spouses, saying his family had been, quote, subjected to unrelenting attacks and threats motivated solely by a desire to hurt me, the worst kind of partisan politics.
An up and down weekend for TikTok, going dark on Saturday night as we reached the deadline for the company to sell. However, it came back Sunday afternoon after being down for about 12 hours with a message thanking President Donald Trump. Although it is now up and running, the future of the popular app is still very much uncertain. Edward Lawrence tonight has more from the White House. Edward, thanks to California wildfires. They've been burning now for nearly 2 weeks, leaving tens of thousands with more questions now than answers.
And tonight, the wind is ramping up concerns of sparking new fires. And as residents assess the rubble left behind, one man is grateful one item remains. We're going to share his story next.
A popular mom-and-pop resort is open for business. What it took for them to battle back from the hurricanes is all new tonight at 11. Well, the Santa Ana winds returned to Southern California, bringing the renewed dangers of igniting more fires or ramping up the 2 that are still burning in LA County. 2 weeks. The Palisades and Eaton fires are both more than 60% contained now, but the situation is going to get more difficult because the National Weather Service has issued a particularly, and they quoted this completely, particularly dangerous situation warning for much of the LA area. A big problem is the unpredictable nature of these incredibly powerful winds.
We are in a set position in the ready, set, go lineup. That means you should be prepared to leave immediately. It's not the time to start thinking about it. You need to be prepared.
The winds could go from nothing, from calm, to 40 miles an hour very quickly, and then calm down again. So that's one of the main concerns today.
Well, meantime, the damage assessment continues. More than 14,000 structures have been destroyed. An LA-appointed chief recovery officer is now hoping to jumpstart a building effort and rebuilding that could take years. And that fire has impacted so many people in and around LA. For one man, that meant his home and, of course, everything inside.
But with the help of firefighters from Salt Lake City, he was reunited with 2 of his priceless belongings. Fox's Avery Klonowski has more.
All right, coming up in sports, the Lightning back on the road tonight, kicking off a 4-game road trip up in Toronto is where it starts, looking to gain a little ground in that division race. We have highlights from the ice coming up on the other side. Meanwhile, this was the scene at Raymond James Stadium 8 years ago. Clemson and Alabama playing for the national championship. Well, are you ready for the big game to make its return to the Bay Area. We have details for you straight ahead. The Lightning are chasing the Toronto Maple Leafs in the Atlantic Division, coming into the night 7 points behind them, a distance that wouldn't be quite as bad had the Bolts not dropped the previous 2 meetings this year. Hoping the third time's the charm tonight. Up in Toronto they go. Minutes and time, of course, crucial down the stretch. Let's see if we can get this thing tied up. We'll get a follow-up for you coming up at 11 o'clock.
I saw a doink during the game.
A doink, yeah.
Did you see a doink?
We got a doink?
Yeah, that could be critical at some point. Linda's like shaking her head.
What's a doink?
When the ball hits the upright. It could be a turning point. Everyone's looking at me like I'm crazy. Well, you do anyways. 49 degrees as we're looking downtown, and clouds are thickening over us, and we'll see some areas of rain developing later tonight. More rain tomorrow night into Wednesday. Watching the live cameras in Houston, and I tell you, staring at this camera, and get some snow showers developing now, and that'll spread to the east overnight and during the day tomorrow. So mainly a light rain. There'll be another surge of moisture kind of moving at us later tomorrow and tomorrow night, with any rain ending by early on Wednesday. You can see the snow now in blue, gradually increasing in coverage. This will slide to the east later on tonight and tomorrow, and areas of pink are the sleet and the freezing rain along I-10 to New Orleans. So right now it's just a cloudy and it's a chilly night with temps in the 40s to near 50. And tomorrow for a time it'll be just kind of cloudy and wet with a light rain. Again, nothing heavy tomorrow, but for a time pretty miserable with temps in the 40s and 50s with a cold rain. And then by moving into Tuesday night and Wednesday, things will stay chilly. The warm-up doesn't get going until next week. Check it out. We stay in the 40s and 50s for lows and highs. But I think most of next week, Linda, with sunshine, and Mark, should be in the 70s next week. So hang in there. Don't fret. Warm weather's on the way.
We fret not. This is Florida, and we know weather changes by the hour. So thanks, Paulie. All right, we may still be a few months out from Epic Universe being ready to go public here, but one attraction at the park is ready for you right now. Yeah, this is pretty wild. The good news, you can even stay the night.
And here's what's coming up new at 11. Another reason to read the fine print. How smart fitness apps could be tracking everything, right down to how you smell. How is that possible? It could put your personal data at risk. Plus,
it's been so devastating, all of it. I mean, I can't stop all of the voices of the owners that are just calling me, just begging me.
Pleading for help to find their pets lost in the aftermath of the California wildfires. Why animal rescue groups say they're facing red tape in the rescue process. That's tonight on the 11 o'clock news.
Well, America's premier record keeper needs folks to help them scroll through documents written in a, quote, lost art. The National Archives looking for volunteers who know how to correctly read cursive handwriting styles. The archive says that they have 300 million documents in their catalog, and they need people with almost superpower skills of reading cursive. About 5,000 volunteers currently exist, but the archives need even more. Documents contain items going back 200 years, and records run from the Revolutionary War to the 1950 census. They're up online.
Well, the Federal Trade Commission is suing the PepsiCo Corporation. The FTC says PepsiCo has engaged in illegal price discrimination that favors at least one unnamed major business, which sources close to the situation say is Walmart. The lawsuit says PepsiCo gave the business favored status like compensated advertising or promotional services and did not offer the same to the company's competitors. PepsiCo denies the facts of the lawsuit, and Walmart has not commented. Universal is expanding and ready to thrill guests in Orlando with their new attractions.
Indeed, the Stella Nova Resort is what it's called, set to open outside the new Epic Universe theme park tomorrow.
Wow.
Now, Universal says that this hotel is meant to transport guests to a different place in time. And it comes just months before the grand opening of Epic Universe. That's the new park set to open Memorial Day weekend. They hope the new hotel will give guests a sneak peek on how extravagant these new additions are.
This is not the resort that is actually part of the park. Helios, well, when it opens, it actually sits within the park. This one, I would say that you're at a distance of about Royal Pacific to Sapphire Falls at the existing, North Campus of Universal Orlando. So you're close. You're not quite in the park. And the way where you can see out your window is really Super Nintendo World to Universal Monsters.
Yeah, Epic Universe is set to open May 2nd, 22nd rather. And if you cannot hold your excitement in, Good News tickets are available now. So get them, get them, get them.
Better get them now. Fox 13, 11 o'clock news starts right after the break, everyone.